Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, and welcome to 1 Minute Tennis Coach. Today I want to talk to you about the contact point on the ground strokes. We've made a lot of videos recently about how to initiate the strokes by using the body, and this does help to create tremendous power. But this power isn't so useful unless the contact point is correct. So I'm going to explain where the contact point should be, why it should be there, and then as ever we're going to give you a really simple trick on how to find this contact point in your ground strokes every single time. The contact point for the ground strokes wants to be a comfortable distance in front. Now it depends on the ground stroke. On the one-handed backhand is a long way in front because of the grip. On the two-handed backhand it's in front, but not quite as far. On the forehand, it depends a little bit on the technique, because if you have a straight arm forehand, such as Federer and Nadal, then it's a long way in front, and it's a little bit closer if you have the bent arm of nearly all the other players that we see on tour. But the common denominator of all of these is it's not too close to the body and it's always in front. The reason we need to find this position in front is so that we can use the big and strong muscles of the body. If I make contact with the ball in this area here, and now make my rotation or roll of the racket, then I'm making that roll from the elbow, and the shoulder is totally neutral. The elbow is fundamentally weak, and so as I make the stroke here, I'm going to create spin, a kind of loopy top spin, but I'm not going to create penetration, power and speed. And you'll have seen, encountered, and maybe in your own game you'll have found this, where you seem to be working very, very hard, but the ball just rotates and spins into the court without causing too much damage. If I make the contact point further in front here, then now I rotate from the shoulder and the elbow follows, but the rotation is initiated from the shoulder, from the lower deltoid. So the key to this, the big factor, is making the contact in front. And if you make the contact in front, then all of these correct muscle groups and all of the correct sequencing will take place automatically. So how do we find the contact point for the ground strokes, and can we have one single piece of advice that we can apply to all of the ground strokes? We've got a simple idea that really works. When we're playing tennis, we want our focus to be on the ball. The less we think about what we're actually doing in here, and the more we focus on the ball, the easier the game is. But we have to get the technique right. So as the ball approaches, I suggest that what you try to do is to see the ball through the strings of the racket. If I can see the ball through the strings of the racket, then I have to be making contact the correct distance in front. If I make contact here, then I can see the ball, but I cannot see it through the strings of the racket. As I go further forwards, I now would be able to see the ball through the strings of the racket. On the backhand, the same, I can see the ball through the strings. On the two-handed backhand, the same, I can see the ball through the strings. If I constantly focus on trying to see the ball through the strings, then not only is my attention entirely on the ball, but also I have this perfect contact point where the correct muscle groups will be driving the stroke, and I'll have power and spin and control. Now, a good way of doing this is to self-feed. And so if we begin by putting the racket into this position here, we put it into a position where I would be able to see the ball through the strings. And now from this dead or inert position, I'm going to roll the racket into the end of the stroke. So from here, from the correct contact point, and I roll the ball into the correct position. And now to get the feel for it, I suggest that you do this several times, not hundreds, but maybe 10 or 15 times. You bounce the ball and then roll the racket to here. And again, bounce the ball and roll the racket to here. And now the natural progression to this is to make the same movement, but we begin in the position we showed you in the forehand power source, the bounce position. So take the racket into the take back position here, bounce the ball in front, and now I'm going to try and see the ball through the strings as I make the swing. Again, I go from here, I turn the body to initiate the swing and try and see the ball through the strings. If you constantly focus on trying to see the ball through the strings, then it is very unlikely that you will make contact in anything other than the perfect place. It's a really simple trick. I also believe it's something that Roger Federer does. Many people focus a lot on how long Federer keeps his head down, but a common position that we see in Federer is this position here, where his head is back, looking through the strings of the racket onto the ball. You not only concentrate on the ball, but you have the perfect contact point with the ball. Let us know how this works in your game or your player's game, and as ever, please leave comments. We always reply, we always try to give feedback. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and remember, if you need more help with your game, we do one-to-one individual online lessons and a whole lot more. The link to that's below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.